You don't need a special time or space for integrating lessons. That may help, may be helpful, but it's impossible to just hit the pause button and make life pause for a while to give you that time. Like you say, that's the problem. Life just kind of runs over you, and integrating is a problem. Well, keep in mind what the lesson is. What did you learn? What's the important thing? Okay, now that will usually come within a very specific context. Oh, well, what the lesson was is I shouldn't holler at people and tell them they're wrong. That's the wrong way to approach something. But it'll come in a specific context. I shouldn't have told George that he was wrong. I should have approached that some other way other than telling him he was wrong. Now she's thinking about that in terms of having conversations with people, but she needs to also say, I need to implement that all over, all parts of my life. Become a better person, more aware of other people's thoughts and feelings and moods. That's the bigger picture. The bigger picture is much bigger than George. So most lessons are like that. Most lessons, you learn them in a very specific context, but they apply universally all over. So if you can work it up to the point where you see the global context, not just the specific context, and then you can apply it everywhere. So now all the rest of your life isn't in the way. All the rest of your life is giving you opportunities to employ that larger concept, a bigger picture of what you've just learned. So that's one thing. Take what you've learned and generalize it to the big picture. And you can almost always do that, from the specific concept to the bigger picture. And then life is just a place for you to go apply what you know. And it doesn't get in the way. It's actually helpful that you can do that. So that's one thing. The second thing is, initially, when you just learned the lesson, it's good to spend some time thinking about that lesson to try to find the more general statement of that lesson. And you can often do that best in meditation state. If you can meditate for half an hour and just consider what the lesson really is, what's the bigger lesson? Get it up to that general level, then apply it generally to the rest of your life. So when you get that aha moment, spend some time in meditation to consider it. And it was my behavior was the problem. Well, no, it's not behavior. What was driving that behavior? Oh, well, it was my ego that was the problem, my insensitivity that was the problem, my beliefs that were the problem. Well, in what way were your beliefs? A belief in what? Oh, actually, it was my fear that was the problem. You see, this is the process of generalizing something, and well, what fears were the problem, and where do those fears come from? So if you can do that better in meditation than you can in almost any place else, because that gives you, things will shoot into your mind. Suddenly you'll see a picture of where you learned that bad behavior, where you learned that fear, where it came from, will maybe flash in front of you. You'll get some insights in meditation that you won't get other places. So I would say, do that. Spend some time. And even if it takes you, a day or two to find that half an hour to meditate, find that hour. Even if it means you sleep a half an hour less, find that hour. Or do it before you fall asleep at night. You get in bed, then go through the lessons that you've learned that day and try to pull them all up into a bigger picture. Find what was the fear that triggered it. Most people tend to leave it at the initial level of behavior. Oh, I shouldn't do that. How should I have behaved? What should I have said? And when you leave it at the level of behavior, it doesn't sink in very deep, because that's really not the problem. The behavior is a symptom of the problem, but not the problem. Changing the behavior is polishing up your image, not actually changing who you are. But you really have to understand what's at the roots. What is the real problem? If you just take one significant problem and work on it until you really rip it out by the roots, that makes it so much easier for the next problem. But if you have a problem and every time all you do is solve it at the behavioral level and go on, you don't learn anything, and they keep repeating and repeating, and then you say, well, I just don't seem to learn anything because life just overwhelms me and it's gone. That's really not the problem. The problem isn't you're not sticking with it until you've done it. You know, you've gotten rid of it. Just one at a time. The other 10 problems, let them be problems. Say, I'll work on that next month after I figure out this one. But run it to ground, find out what is really the cause of that, and deal with that. Then it won't matter. Then life won't change it. Life will just give you more opportunities to apply it. So I think that's the problem. We stop too soon on our, what should I learn? We need to dig deeper.